The space between wanting and waiting is this space of limbo between where you are and where you want to be. It's a long period of uncertainty, not knowing when or if you'll ever arrive, not knowing if all the work you're doing will be worth it, not knowing how many times you'll have to change course, start over, fail, be humiliated, humbled. I didn't expect waiting to be the hardest part of chasing my dreams. And I hate to wait. I get frustrated when progress doesn't come fast enough. The more vast the space of limbo becomes, the more room there is for doubt, fear, and worry to enter. It kind of feels like this constant battle between a version of me that believes and one that doesn't. In this battle, I find myself slowly becoming, being built and shaped by both what goes wrong and what goes right. Through this process of trial and error, my vision for the future reveals itself more and more. Often, I want to have the answers to all my questions, a clear roadmap to my destination. But if I did, what would be left to discover? The beauty of becoming is in the figuring out, the detours, the challenges. This quiet and long space between wanting and waiting is where identity is formed, discipline is built, and skills are earned. Day to day, the changes can feel almost invisible. Yet, when I look back on a few months or even weeks, I can really see the difference if I've been showing up for myself and my craft consistently. Through becoming, there is a lot of newness and experimentation, and with that comes a lot of mistakes or things that don't work out or pay off. I can spend hours and hours seeing a new creative idea through to the end and still end up hating it. I can spend hours on a painting and have no one see it or care about it. I can spend hours on a video and then lose all my footage to a faulty hard drive. And that one's my mistake. Something like this is always coming up. And when these things happen, it can all feel like a huge waste of time and energy. It can make me question, is any of this really worth it? I think that is one of the biggest battles creatives face, or anyone on the journey of getting what they want out of life. Facing that question and having to prove to ourselves over and over again that what we're doing is worth it, even when everything around us feels like it's telling us otherwise. I once had an old boss of mine who was an artist but wasn't making that much art anymore tell me that in order to keep making art consistently, you have to really, really believe in what you are doing. I could tell he had lost his faith, and I think about that moment when I'm losing mine. It really only matters if you believe in what you're doing, because eventually that will cause others to believe too. I've learned that in the space of limbo, the most important things are what I do with my time and my perspective. The space gets wider and wider without the right action. And for many years, I found it really hard to stick to new habits. I'd have these great ambitions and plans, be disciplined for a few days, and then fall off. I realized this pattern kept repeating itself because I either didn't care enough about the new habit, or more often, I failed to give it the importance it deserved. So it wasn't a matter of willpower, it was a matter of perspective. I began to think about my future self. Where is she? What steps did she take to get there? I started working backwards, treating each task as something I do for her, as if I work for her. One day, I'll be in her position, but for now, my job is to do the things that move me closer, to do the things that will allow me to even qualify to be her. Because realistically, if I woke up tomorrow and I had everything I ever wanted, I wouldn't even know what to do with it. I wouldn't be organized or disciplined enough to sustain it. When I remember that, I remember how important this time period is. No matter how boring or frustrating it may feel, this time is preparation for the future. In preparing for the future, I find myself living there more than the present. Then I come back to the present and I'm upset that I'm not in the future. Living in a time other than now is a quiet source of suffering. To be in the space of wanting and waiting requires a delicate balance between planning for the future and living in the now. I often struggle with this balance. I think part of what makes this difficult is the expectation we set on what the future will be like and how we will feel when we reach our dreams. But the reality is that our dreams are rarely what we imagine when we finally get there. I often idealize the future and obsess over what I want. It takes a conscious effort to step back and allow the future to unfold without trying to control it. Two very important realizations I've made is that one, the reality of my dreams is not going to be as romantic as I imagine it. It's not going to be this perfect place. It's going to have issues of its own. And two, the journey is way longer than the destination. The time spent getting to where I want to go is going to be much longer than the time spent hitting the milestone. So the best way to move through and honor this season of uncertainty is with presence and enjoyment of every step of the way.